Why isn't this on? Did someone unplug it?
He hasn't muted us.
Yes.
Oh. The owl's not working. It's only on my face.
What's on Brian's now?
Michelle, pass it.
I'm just gonna go like this. It was working because I was just playing around with the volume.
I plugged it into the dongle. Gonna help me.
It already came. It was already.
Missed the boat.
All right, we're good to go. If we could please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have a few agenda adjustments. Few, more than a few. H, we have a pole permit. I, we have a painting to talk about. J, wood harvesting information. K, fire department. L, sign, and M, computer quote. Anybody have anything else?
No, please.
So I got pole
Mhm.
Permit.
permit,
Painting,
No, we're not painting a pole.
painting,
Yes.
wood.
wood harvest info,
Harvest. Okay,
fire department,
fire,
sign,
sign.
and then
Quote.
computer quote, and sign quote.
Oh, sign quote, yeah.
Yeah.
Is L sign quote?
Yes,
Or just, okay.
all right. Approval of the minutes from our regular meeting, January 9th, executive sessions on the 17th and the 29th.
Make motion to approve.
I have a motion, can I get a second? Second. There's a motion and a second on approving the minutes, all those in favor?
Is Christine on?
No,
All right.
Yes.
Going on to new business. It's actually kind of old business, but, AVCOG. So we had talked a while ago about wanting to, look at the possibility of renewing the AVCOG membership. To look at possibly doing some stuff with the school. So I was bringing that back up for discussion to see. If we wanted to move ahead with that, and if so, if we could vote on the money end of it, so we could get that taken care of.
Yeah, I thought we were just waiting to take the vote on where the money would come from. No, because I thought we decided we wanted to move ahead. Am I
Right.
correct? Okay.
And I believe it was 2,100.
$2,053.40. And we wanted something in writing from AVCOG on the process and how long the nonprofit would hold the property.
No, yeah. I still say community benefit fund. Because. Due to the safety issues, it's a. Necessary issue to remove it.
Mhm.
I recommend we take the AVCOG membership money from the community benefit fund. Make a motion to take.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to renew our AVCOG membership out of the community benefit fund for a price of $2,053.43, 40 cents. Any discussion?
I'm just familiarizing myself with the,
I think it would be, a benefit to us if Amy could come or zoom into one of our meetings just to chat with us about it and the process and everything. But I know in order to really do anything, we have to at least renew the membership first. So
Mhm.
if we do that, that gets us started on, what we might want to do in the future.
Absolutely. With that being said, Brian, the code enforcement uses AVCOG and
Mhm.
comprehensive plan uses AVCOG.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
I just, before I vote, I want to second what you said, that I think that if we do move forward with this and this does pass to take out of the community benefit plan, that, fund, that we do have follow-up meetings with AVCOG
Right.
on the whole process.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's all. I
Yeah,
want.
this is just approving the money
Yeah.
to renew the membership.
Mhm.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
We have money available to help with getting to the school.
That's why we're renewing the membership,
Yeah.
because then we can talk more. There is, but there's a process to go through. So if we renew the membership, we can start going a little further. But. All right, book restoration. So we've talked a long time about book 2, which is at NEDCC. They are begging and pleading, wanting to know if we are going to do it, yes or no, because they're going to, if we don't, they want to get it back to us.
It's been there for 4 years, I believe.
Just about that much.
Yeah, they've been very patient with us.
And they've actually been really generous and dropped the price. It is 11,000 and change. So what, Carol and I talked about is seeing if the board would be willing to take up to 13,000 out of the community benefit fund to go ahead and do the book restoration.
The original plan had been to use carryover, but we don't know what that number is.
What do we have in the community benefit fund?
Money?
I'm afraid you're right.
Well, I mean, it's a question, because
I know,
we're just
I know.
taking some
I
money
used
out.
to know that answer.
Get it, it's just gonna take me a minute.
Once you knew the balance of the carryover funds, would you then replenish the community development fund?
Probably not. Or at least I guess I wouldn't, but.
What was it you called this room? The time something?
Vortex?
Yes. Apparently it's.
Community benefit. So 6/30/24. As of 6/24, community benefit was 126 and change.
And we should have. Then.
Yes, yeah, because they usually comes sometime November, December.
Yeah.
It comes right about the same time as
Yeah.
taxes, so there'd be an additional 32,000 on top of
Yeah,
that.
so it's roughly 150 in there.
Want the count number? No, because this is on a spreadsheet that I should send back a couple months ago.
Thank you.
I'll second that. I know it's less than that, but I didn't. Yeah. Forgot to bring the quote with me tonight.
Up to how much?
1300. And that's an over.
Yeah.
Second, I can tell you what the draft of the 24 or 23 audit had. So I was just reading through. Right page.
And I believe that will finish up the books that we can restore. The other ones are beyond restoration due to water damage. So.
What book is this?
Two.
Two, okay.
Number 2.
We sent 2 and 3 at the same time. 3 was worse,
Right,
in worse shape and cost a little more, so we did that one first.
Yeah, so the ending of 23 audit, which would have had, like I say, well, ending of 23, that would have had another payment on top of it, was 104,392.
Yeah.
So then you do the adjustment on top of that.
so we've had book one done.
Book 1 was done.
Book
by
3.
Centennial. Yeah,
Yeah, and then book 3 was done,
Yeah, we did 3 next because that was in worse
So,
shape. than
right,
2. Yeah.
right, okay,
that's why I included.
right, that we got back, I remember.
All right, so I have a first and a second to take book 2 out of the community benefit fund up to 13,000. All those in favor? Opposed?
Yeah, I'll be happy to hear that.
Nice, that 2 things off.
Yeah.
Office storm closings.
Sean, we were talking about that, we're just trying to get a clarification. Whether it's, we go by the we did a little poll, we sent a message out to the other towns. When the state closes, do you close? When the schools close, do you close? You know, what's your policy? And it was kind of split. When the state closes, they close, when the school closes, their town offices close, or it's office staff decision. So we just want clarification, so we know the best route to go.
I thought it was in our policy what our stance was.
I thought it was off, board decision, office staff and board decision, wasn't it?
Right.
According to our policy.
Okay, so is it, we have to get approval from the whole board, or just the liaison?
Liaison. I'm looking for the wording, I just taking me a second.
That's
to
just
find
what
it.
we wanted, so we were all on the same page.
Mhm.
Because we have, like, even today, we had a lot of calls, oh, are you open? Are you gonna stay open? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what it says verbatim, but I know it's
okay,
office staff connect with the liaison or liaisons from the board, someone from the board, and then a decision is made.
okay.
I think it'd be consistent if the office was closed when the school's closed, but. That's my feeling. I was under the assumption that it was when state office is closed, but it doesn't make sense because Weds is different.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that
Yeah,
way,
it
and we
used to be
changed
that
it
way.
because of
Yeah.
just what
The
you
weather
just
is
said.
different.
That's why my feeling is that this local school is closed, this place should be closed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, for example, today, the kids could have gotten to school,
No kidding.
you know,
Yeah, but getting home would have been hard.
well, it could have been
At
an early
11:30
release
you'd
day,
have been
right?
fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, I sometimes the schools cancel,
Mhm.
They're erring on the caution side.
Right,
Because you're hauling 300 kids.
yeah,
around.
there are
Yeah.
buses on the road.
Don't get plowed as quick as others,
Right.
and the safety of the kids under the snow
Yeah.
come first. And
Right.
so if they felt that they couldn't get them home safe,
Right.
they just plow it off.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we just wanted clarification, so we were all on the same page. Perfect.
Did you find the wording or?
I
Wording or
need
no?
to download the
Somewhere.
personnel policy.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
okay, I'll let Brian.
We might lose some
Doesn't
data
matter.
there.
We can move on to something else.
It's right here in this section. we can look there.
We don't want this to control, delete you.
Town facilities are expected to remain open during their respective hours and days of operation during inclement weather conditions. Example, heavy snow, hurricane, flood, etc., whenever possible. If the town clerk feels the conditions warrant closing the office in. Conditions warrant closing the office, the select board member responsible for the town office shall be contacted to approve the office closing. If approved, the select board shall be notified. Then there's stuff that goes after that. Transfer station annual report.
You all have in your binders, we received this a little while ago. I want to share it. Seemed like everything, they toured the facility while it was closed. Which means, and if you read the thing, they went around the gate. However, it does say in here,
There's something about signs.
yep, and we've had to order new signs. Apparently someone went in while the transfer station was closed and took the magnetic signs off the recycling bins.
How'd they get in there?
Walk around.
Gate.
Just
Why
like they
someone
did
would
to do
steal a
this.
magnetic sign, I don't know, but Jim called me and we've ordered him new ones. But there is a report, which is also, something I wanted to talk about, but, we had sent this to Christine and she sent it back, the biannual recycling report. We also need some assistance with this because Aaron and I can't find all the information. But in your notice, in your thing that I put in the binders, the annual reports have not been received since 2018, so I don't know.
That was supposed to be done.
Yep. I believe,
So, we do have this year's recycling report, but like I said, we need a little assistance. Christine was unable to help us, but she's new to the transfer station, so. But we have until April to get that done. But overall, it looks like the report is pretty good. And we've been in touch with the gentleman one of the gentlemen, the representatives from Archie's has been down a couple of times and just making sure all that we're happy and.
So they have cameras on the building on the dump.
yes.
We have to have the area designated in case someone comes in with a burning load of trash.
Apparently. According to them, we do.
Yeah, that's you need. So,
Upload.
it's interesting.
Signs, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what stuck out to me when I read it.
Yeah.
Was the time. Piece.
so we'll have to have one for. Cardboard, plastic, glass. No, there's two types of plastic, right?
Glass is inside the building, it shouldn't,
Yeah.
it shouldn't have been touched. Should
Newspaper,
be new.
cardboard and plastic is what goes in the big bin, big thing.
So we'll have to have those three. And then,
Glass and
yeah, there'll have to be
That's
something that
all
says we're
inside.
black.
So
aluminum
Cans
cans.
and glass are inside the building.
Yeah, but is there a sign saying that though?
No, but we need to have.
So we'll have to,
that.
we'll have to have it.
We also need to
That
have
say
one
that.
that says that hazardous waste is inside the building.
Yeah.
Because that's the first.
So there's a whole list of signs we need.
Uh-huh.
Email first one, said charity auction.
Did you ever? Okay.
Jim got a
I
whole
can't
range.
understand anything you're saying.
Yeah, it's really hard to hear. Sean, can you speak up a little
Yeah.
bit?
There's an email from Christine saying that she audited them when Jim got a hold of her,
Okay. She
saying they
could,
were missing.
she couldn't, complete the, are you talking about the annual report?
No, the
from-
signs.
Oh, the
Yeah.
signs.
We were just discussing signs.
Okay.
I mean, it need to be audited.
Okay.
Jim called us to order the signs after they were
I
taken,
think, I think the email was, you replied, Christine, saying that the signs were already ordered.
Okay.
I would have to look back, but I believe that's.
Just making
it.
sure we didn't.
I don't
They're taken care of, at least for most of them,
We're
but we may need
discussing all
more.
the signs and it's been done,
Okay, I don't remember an email from Christine, so.
according to her email. Doesn't make any difference if it's done, right?
Yep, I'll check into it.
I think one other thing I think I would like, if you could do, is just email Vera and ask her that next time when they come do an inspection, that they please notify us ahead of time so that we can have somebody there to let them in.
That seems a little odd.
Because it also mentions that they couldn't, I can't remember exactly where it was,
Verify.
couldn't verify some of the universal waste stuff. Well, it's not our fault that it's locked up and you didn't ask us to
Yeah.
let you in to look at it.
Yep.
Which we would happily do if we would have known you were coming. All right, sewer billing.
We're all gotta be on the same page on this. I was looking through the expense report. I guess my question is, how come the sewer doesn't have it, like,
So it's not required to have a budget that is voted on.
so why doesn't it have budget?
It hasn't had a budget for the last 2 years that was in the county report.
The selectmen are the trustees and the trustees, we do a budget. if
Yeah.
needed.
So
David and I-
where's the budget? I haven't seen.
It's been in the town report for 2 years.
For this year, it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
So is money being put away to replace his truck, to replace pumps and that type of stuff?
At this point, no. That's why,
This isn't a budget. This is expense report.
Right.
That's what's
Correct.
Dave and I
That's
have,
what's been in town report.
The-
Oh, can you look at it?
that, all I see is the chart of accounts that you're looking at. Like you have the chart of accounts, not the,
Anyways, we need to make a budget.
Mhm.
Because we need to start charging people, saying, this is how people,
Mhm.
you want their charge for,
I have to look back, I haven't looked recently, it's been, what, 3 years since we adjusted the rates, I think.
people aren't failing to charge.
Can you speak up?
People aren't failing being charged. Soon. You got some people, 5 people in the house that have been charged for 3, you got some people, 1 person in the house that have been charged for 2, 3, 4. We need to go down through this. Adjust it accordingly.
So a couple years ago, we sent out postcards to everybody.
I thought that was
to-
last year.
I can't remember.
Yeah, because I. remember
Whichever
years
year,
ago.
right, whichever year we did it,
Hmm.
the postcards went out, we're just, hang on, I haven't asked for public comment yet. So, we've asked for them to tell us how many people, how many fixtures, I can't remember the exact wording, I'd have to go back and find it, but. And then the bills were adjusted, to my knowledge, or the office was asked to adjust them.
Well, being on the honor system's not working. And the sewer department's losing money on that. But in the end run, me going to talk to Mark Holt, she said Mark Holt has been involved in this.
Russ and I had dealt with
I
them
don't know,
Truthfully,
4 or 5 years ago.
at some point, this is going to be changed over to water use.
I agree,
So
we talked about that a long time ago.
whether we want to do this in the interim, or if you guys are all on board with this. Between changing over to water use. Whether we start asking people, going around and saying how many people are in the house. It's look. No, what's $31 when a person's got 3 people in the house?
That's ready to serve.
That's just,
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. 3168 is for ready to serve.
1 to 2 people is 96.84.
So ready to serve, got 3 people in the house.
No,
This is what I'm saying. I know 3 people on the courts. This is what I'm saying.
But if it's ready to serve, that means they're not using sewer.
They're not
There's
hooked up.
3 people living in the house. This is what.
But it doesn't have anything to do how many are living in the house if they're not connected, is my point. If they're not connected to the sewer, they only get billed $31.68.
If they're within 200 feet of the sewer, they're supposed to pay ready to serve, correct?
Right, which is the $31.68.
So when there's 6 people in town that aren't paying that ready to serve, this is what I'm saying. We need to police this. So who has the authority to police this? I know you're upset.
Selectmen in the town
No, I'm just frustrated that
We,
people, can I just please finish my
well,
statement?
I was still talking.
Well, you asked me a question, so I was
I
going to
said, you're
answer.
upset, Carol, but this is between us. So who has authority to police this, Dave?
Dave Wood is the sewer superintendent, yes.
That's the way I look at it. We can ride up and down these roads and say, okay, you've got 4 people living in that house, you've got 1 person living in this house, so how do we approach this? I'm just looking out for the sewer district, so they don't end up like that water district did.
So I would have to pull the ordinance and read the billing part of it again. Because to be honest, I haven't read it since we updated the rates, a year and a half ago or 3 years, whatever the heck it was. But. And to be honest, I think we're very close to where we need to do, a rate increase anyways, because when we did it the last time, we had said 3 years, so if we're hitting the 3-year mark, we need to be looking at it anyways.
Absolutely. When RHR Smith said you gotta do a 27% increase, obviously you can't do that.
Correct.
But when I'm asking, I'll let Carol go, she has something to say, when I'm asking, who polices this?
My frustration is in the fact that I really feel like I need to wear a striped shirt, sitting between 2 of you people. And it's frustrating because this is bickering and bantering going back and forth, and we're not addressing the issue. The issue is, yes, we have talked for years that the sewer billing needs to be based on water usage, like everybody around us does. When we discussed it previously, we were told we could not get water billing readings, water meter readings. How are we supposed to address this if we weren't able to get water readings? So this is what we came up with. As opposed to, say Jody has 10 people living in his house, Diane has 2. We can't have them both paying the same thing.
Correct.
So this is how we came up with a breakdown. We didn't have any other options at that particular time. If we can get water readings, I'm all for it.
But water readings isn't gonna happen. I'm telling you this.
Okay,
Carol.
I'm listening.
You can get water readings anytime you want. I had this discussion with Scott Gilbert, but you're gonna pay for it. We have to charge because we can't just say, here's a water reading. Every town gives water readings, I can tell you right now, charges for it.
I'm not saying
But
anything.
it doesn't have, because there's a formula to it. Mark Holt's more than willing to come over here and sit down with the town of Canton and show how it's done. No, there's no bickering event going on yet. It needs to be done.
Not right now.
No,
No, we're talking now.
It needs to be done.
I'm not disagreeing with that, Sean. It just,
So what's the process to get it done? But you guys want to continue with the person charging until the water reading gets in place? This ain't gonna happen for a year.
No, I think what we need to do first is pull the ordinance and see what the ordinance is worded as, because if there's stuff written in there, it would have to go to town meeting to be changed. So if we took a look at that, if we took some time to look at that and say, okay, these are our options with current, or if we wanted to change it, here's how we would go about that. And then we can look at it at our next meeting and see where we need to go, or where we could go.
Especially since the sewer,
Hang on. And especially since I think the other thing we need to do is we need to involve Dave in the discussions.
Absolutely.
So I think if we talk to Dave and say, hey, this is something we're looking at, would you be willing to come in either, before our next meeting, or we can even schedule just a workshop just to discuss, sewer billing stuff. And just kind of go through, see what's in the ordinance and go through, see what we gotta do, if there are changes that have to be made, and then see about rates and go from there.
I have a suggestion in the meantime. I think that those questionnaires need to be sent out more regularly and, because we sent one out last year and that was the first time I received one since I've been on sewer. So, people's lives change and they don't always think to report things right away. So, I think that maybe we look at sending that questionnaire twice a year.
it should be somewhere on a One of the commuters, I would think.
Yeah.
How many did you get back?
Huh?
How many did you get back?
It was
Anyone.
a pretty good percentage.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought the majority of them
Yeah.
came back.
I'm just thinking with the cost of postage, you gotta account for that as well.
Well, you're putting them with the sewer bill.
yeah.
They're in the
Oh,
sewer
Yeah,
bill
they went out with one round of sewer billing
Okay,
and.
I didn't know that.
twice a year.
Well, I
So when
think
someone comes in and pays their sewer bill, they bring the questionnaire with them.
the other option is we can post it online and just do it as a survey
Yeah.
for anybody that has online access. And then that would at
Absolutely.
least cut down on some of it.
Let's put it on the transparency sign. Have people
Oh,
call,
man.
hey, that sign was bought for transparency.
Mhm. Yeah, no, you can put it on there.
Absolutely, see how many people call
Mhm. Yep, no, like I say, I think if we do. I guess because we have another crier going out. April, yeah, I don't really wanna like that one.
And the next billing's not going to April either.
Right,
Well, and the questionnaire also talked about children under a certain age, over a certain age. There was a difference with that. I don't see that on this list. There was definitely a difference having a child under, I can't remember
I
what
think
the
we-
age was.
Was it 8, maybe?
Something like that.
I can't
I
remember,
don't think the ordinance,
hang on. Sorry, I'm gonna keep us to the rule, try to keep us to the rules tonight. All right, anything else from the board on this?
them. I just wanted to bring it up.
Beth?
I'm,
You were first.
I'm just curious, you mentioned a couple of different things. So does it go by how many people? Or does it go by, you said that you were asking about how many bathrooms, how many this, how many that?
It's by people, is how the bill is.
Yeah.
That sounds like the most fair way.
Yeah, but one of the last times we sent the survey, we had asked how many people, how many fixtures, because we were looking at the different formulas to see
I see.
how the billing would change one way or another.
It was quite a few questions
Yeah.
on the list.
Robin?
Since the sewer ordinance currently is at the lawyers, because planning board has looked at it,
Mhm.
now would be a good time for you guys to maybe go back and review it again before it goes to that vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's why. Mhm, exactly. Hang on, Diane?
the ordinance says, the proposed ordinance says sewer use charge rates, including readiness to serve charge, will be determined by the select board. This charge will be billed on a quarterly basis throughout the calendar year. That's all it says. It doesn't give you actual rates because we agreed we weren't gonna do that.
Right.
Then you'd have to change it every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have to say, I just pay my bill automatically, like the automatic payment through my bank. I don't even, I just file it, I don't even look at it. I've never saw that card.
Shame on you.
Charge, I know it's in my budget, I just pay it, I didn't open it. I didn't get it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So just going back to the budget for the sewer department on that plain piece of paper, so I've seen that in there.
Mhm.
So does that mean that it did go through R.H.R. Smith or no? Because it was.
You mean to be
it's kind of like
audited?
After the fact, so does R.H.R. Smith go over the?
They audit the sewer department as well.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, thank you.
Yep, it's part of their yearly audit.
It looked like an afterthought, so that was the only reason I asked.
No, it wasn't put in, the books were already printed before we did the edit and realized it wasn't there, so that's why it was an additional sheet.
Okay,
The goal is to not have it be an additional sheet, but
okay, thank you.
when we edited, we missed it, so.
All right, thank you.
And I've already been in talks with Dave about this year. He was waiting to hear from, who was he waiting to hear from? Somebody. Because we have annual testing, which is probably going to be about 10 grand.
Again,
But not annual, but the.
let's hope it passes the first time, so we don't have to do it twice like we
Yeah,
did this time. All right, so plan is to add that to the agenda for the next meeting, and we'll do some homework between now and then. All right, Diane.
So in January, I sent a note, and we had a couple of cancel meetings, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it.
Well, I'm gonna step out behind the table.
The, in the house, the, RV apartments sent an application to Maine Housing for the Rural Affordable Rental Housing Program that was opened up last fall, that, applications are due in January. Some decision will be made in the next few months on this. One of the aspects of that application is, they give you points to see if they're gonna give you some low interest loans to build out your project. is whether or not somebody besides the property owner contributes value into the project. Right, so value into the project could be in the form of different things that communities do. They offer a tip, they offer a tax rate reduction, they offer something else, so they contribute something into the cost of the project. Or it could be another third-party individual. So in looking at the whole pro forma for the next 30 years on that project, I did talk to the town appraiser and I said, given, you know, the units and the size and the dimensions and blah, 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 what might this be valued at in the future? And looking at that valuation and the proposed tax rate is on the back of the sheet. You guys, is it in your books? Cause I know I sent it in.
I have a copy of it.
You sent it via email, I remember that.
Right, and it has to be on the agenda.
Yeah, I have it. It was in our last packet.
Yeah. I didn't print that. What's on the back is the other piece.
Oh, sure.
So we looked at what the property is currently valued at, what the tax rate is, and just put in an estimated 3% increase over the next 30 years every year. I looked at what the assessor said, that piece of property, if it's separated off, might be valued at, looked at what that tax rate would be, same tax rate, but over 30 years at a 3% increase. Which the project really can't afford that rate necessarily, because it's a rent restricted project, so you can't just keep raising the rates to accommodate tax increases. I also looked at what Whitney Brookside, even though they're a non-for-profit, right, what they're being charged per unit or what they're paying per unit, which is a voluntary payment on their part. And I said, what if we created a tax schedule, because it is a rent restricted property, affordable housing, that reduced it from the estimated tax rate, but still significantly increased it over the current tax rate. So what you see on the back is that 30-year look. And what it shows is the far right-hand column says, if nothing happens to that property at the current estimated tax rate, over 30 years, the town would get X amount of benefit, which is the $90,721. Right, and these are all projected, right? So if you did nothing to that property, here's what it looks like the tax revenue would be for 30 years. If you look at the far left-hand column, that's what potentially the tax revenue would be if it went with, if it's valued at a certain value and it keeps increasing at 3% a year. That value is $335,645 worth of tax revenue projected over 30 years. The yellow column says, if you can reduce it a little bit from the projected, but still significantly greater than the current, the town gets $225,000 worth of benefit, tax benefit, plus the $90,000 that you're getting for the base property means the town would still get over 30 years, $315,000 worth of tax benefit. But by keeping it slightly lower than the projected, the project benefits over the course of 30 years to the tune of $110,000. So we're asking for just a consideration that said, what if we can set a tax rate or a tax amount that is lower than the projected, but significantly higher than current? So the town wins and the project wins over time. And the rate per unit is still significantly higher than Whitney Brookside. And I know that Pinnacle kind of did something similar when they came to town. The new owners took over and they said, wait a minute, we can't afford to be paying these rates. And they came and asked for a special consideration for the units. So is that clear as mud, or is that understandable?
Whitney Brookside's non-profit.
Right, it's a not-for-profit. This is their voluntary. You don't have to make a decision today, but it'd be nice to be thinking about what that consideration would be.
I'm not making a decision. My concern is if we do it for one, then we've set ourselves up with a very dangerous precedence of anybody else coming into town with a big project. That, well, you did it for so-and-so, so we should have at least this. Which could end us biting us in the butt. And then also being told by Paul Bennett that the board does not have the authority to do that. That is a state deal, nothing we can do.
I don't understand what that means. Cause I asked,
Canton assessors do not have the power to exempt property from taxation. Exemptions are controlled by the state tax laws.
now he told me the town has the ability to give a tax determination. Doesn't mean the valuation is changes.
This is right from
It,
Paul.
it sounds like from Paul that if we were going to do it, it would have to be through a credit enhancement agreement or a TIF.
Yeah.
Which would have to go not only by us, but also by the voters.
I mean, I sympathize with the tax thing, trust me, I hate my taxes, but. They're mine. I choose to have the buildings and the land that I have, so,
I'm sure we can get Paul here to explain
yeah.
from in his terms if
Mhm.
he needs to.
Yeah, cause he gave me a different answer to the same question. And he said, oh, here's how the town could do that, blah, 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 blah. He gave me an explanation for how that could work.
Can we see if Paul can come to our next meeting?
Absolutely. He did get this, I did send this.
Right, yeah.
And if he can, if he's available to come, and if not, we can figure out a different. time schedule.
This. Not able to have one of these, or
Maybe just how you call it, I don't know, maybe another name or something like that.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's why
I sent him that information.
Yep.
And that's what he sent me out.
if we have him here to talk to us, that's probably the best way. And we can do it all at once. Any other discussion or questions? Okay. All right, on to budget committee appointments. Do we have them? We do.
did I give you my agenda for you, don't we?
Nope.
Like right there.
I'm gonna go with the oaths and the appointments,
Okay, well, I'm like, wait a minute, there's extras here.
but, there's one that needs to come out.
Yep. Well, is there any way we can convince you to stay on for one more year?
Me?
Budget committee?
Well, the issue is, you know, I've been told from somebody in town that Sean's going out recruiting somebody to be on the budget committee because there's nobody competent on the board. So if there's no confidence vote in anybody on the board, I don't feel as though that I should be a part of that. And the other thing is you have us go through a budget, but we didn't have any of the, how can you have a budget committee when we're not even looking at anything from the accountant? So I don't want to be part of it.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. But
I want.
I'd rather have somebody have confidence in what I do than how I do it.
Okay, thank you. Go for it, Sean.
Jody, I want you to start getting your back straight. Because you posted, and this is cyberbullying, which your wife could be very much aware of. You've been, with the whole box of stuff right there, you posted online.
Okay, and everything I've ever posted has been true and recorded in meetings. So, and I'm about to expose more, so you'll have more to add to your box.
I hope you do, because it's cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying, trying to hold somebody accountable. We're not
PUC,
having this conversation because this isn't
the
what this is
PUC
about.
and drinking water program holds canned water, accountable. You don't. And just, you know, I haven't been approved anybody for budget committee, anybody in this town office can make out an application.
All right, so moving forward. We have appointment papers for Robin McClintock, Dawn Everly, Malcolm Ray, and Brian Jordan. Assuming Brian's willing to come back and have another round with Robin. Because she gave us a headache last year, so.
I did go out and try to recruit people for the budget committee.
Which is good because we had open spots, so.
Because
Oh, we only have three.
Right. We have four.
Right, I
Right,
said
we
we
have
only
four
have
now.
three
Oh,
until,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, we have four now.
And does Max still wanna run? I wanna be part of it.
I haven't heard otherwise,
Okay,
so.
I hadn't either, but I wanted to.
Yep, no, I haven't heard
That's why I-
otherwise, so. Can I get a motion on those four?
make a motion to approve as the.
second.
I have a motion and a second to appoint Robin McClintock, Don Everly, Malcolm Ray, and Brian Jordan to the Budget Committee. All those in favor? Okay, there are their appointments.
And I asked them to do for Brian, if they all make out one of these, because this says reappointment on it.
Okay.
Just for your sake.
Yeah, no, we can do that.
So if they're in on file,
Sure.
this application for reappointment to town boards, Dawn's the only one made one out.
Right, because she was, we actually have a second one. Max is, if you don't have a copy, I've got it in here.
So no anything.
So actually, I think, does that one have planning board on it too?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's the old one. I have both of the new ones here that I'm happy to share with you. If I can fix the right part of this back. Here we go. These are the original, I don't have copies, but there's Matt and Dawn's applications. Brian and Robin, before you guys leave, if you can check in with Kathy so you guys can swear at each other and do your oath.
Already done that.
Nice.
We do that all through the year.
Well, you know. All right, so when we're signing those, I'm gonna move on to a poll permit.
Are we gonna do meetings or?
What?
Yep, we can.
Oh,
Actually, no, we can't. Because we can't start until we have some documents from the treasurer, so
no,
we will reach out
Yep, that makes sense.
soon. So the poll permit, we have a poll permit from CMP and Oxford Networks for the intersection of Pine Woods and Golden Ridge Road. Approximately 22,650 feet of distance.
are they replacing or adding?
I believe that is for, sweat,
Oh, okay, yeah,
I believe so.
yeah.
It didn't come in with a name on it.
It hasn't got an address on it either,
Well, they don't have an
I was gonna
address
say they
yet.
wouldn't have one yet.
right, but usually they stay between an X.
Yeah, but if there's a driveway, there should be an address.
That's what I mean,
Yeah,
I'm shocked that there isn't, but
Do you have the old stuff there, Michelle?
I set them on.
there,
That way I didn't lose them. Any questions?
nope,
All those in favor of a poll permit for Pine Woods Road?
Who was first and second?
I first did it,
sure.
You have a second?
Whatever.
Carol seconded it, and we're all in favor. All right. You want to, Van have the next one?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not being, I just, no.
I'll do it.
You can leave my towel when you back.
Actually, Sean, you want to grab it since you're sitting on that end? You want? That,
Just take the towel down.
so we have given for the town for the meeting room here, a picture of Cornelius Holland, who was our first town clerk and many other things. Cornelius Holland, painted by Carol for the town office, so we can offset Gus. So just to let everybody know, that's our new addition to the meeting room. She's gonna add some
I'll just,
words underneath
Yeah.
and we can do something for a nameplate for it.
and at the same time, I'll type something up on Gus so that we don't just have
Something
Two pictures of-
laminated.
2 pictures of old men on our walls. and
No,
nobody
yeah.
knows who they are.
It would be nice to have a little like
Yeah.
write up
Yeah.
about them and laminated, maybe
Yep.
the years that,
Yeah,
yeah,
this was done from a portrait that's at the New Orleans, cause he
Yeah.
was
yeah,
very good friends with that family.
We had tried to keep that one and we.
Yes, I begged, they wouldn't let me, but,
We couldn't keep it, but.
so I took a lot of photos and redid it. And yes, he looks like Dracula, but that's the way it is in the actual. photo.
That's how he looked in the original
Yes.
painting.
He does have 2 ears and they're
And they're
not
not-
crooked.
Yeah. So that's,
Don't, now I'm gonna look at that for us tonight. But there it is.
That's the
So,
first thing people notice in
Very
that one, is why is one ear on his shoulder and one ear not on his shoulder?
yeah, it's a little wonky,
all right, well, thank you very much.
no problem.
Won't be taking it back home.
No, let's see.
All right, wood harvest.
I put mine away.
So we all have a sheet of the stumpage printout from our good friend Steve. Listing the total, and what the expenses were. So total income of all the stumpage from the Meadowview woodlot was 118,571.36. The cost, which he has listed out here on the right, for some road work, Steve's first invoice, okay. And a couple of his invoices comes out to 18,434.63, which gives us an overall payout of 100,136.73.
Can you give me that last number again, please?
136.73.
Where does that money go, Brian?
So that goes into the general fund unless we appropriate it for something specific. But usually that in the past is just going in. The last time we did it, right after I first got on, when we did the other lot, that one, I think it was like 77,000 or something that we got off that, and that's part of, between that and the land sale money, after all of that went into the general fund, some of that's what we used to do this. And help purchase the DOT lot as well. So usually it goes in there and then it'll either get appropriated for something specific or just go into the surplus. And
Cause that was last, what, 10 years ago?
I think that's when it was first done, was when I first got on, so it was either 12 or 13.
Oh, 100,000, 12 years is not shabby.
And this time they cut it a little harder than they did the last, because there was some wood that
Yeah.
he had said needed to go.
Well, it's the,
There's a little bit of ash that had to come out.
the ash and the,
Red pine, I think.
probably red pine, that's very sandy, so probably is red pine older.
So he's done?
Yes.
He is not.
Well, there's one little area that they might get back to when they're on the land trust, but it's not enough to
Looks like we had
lose sleep over
some,
it.
we had a little bit of, well, a very small amount of maple. A little bit of ash that came out of there,
It wasn't,
some oak, red oak that came out,
Very
some red
good, yeah.
maple. Very little yellow birch, white birch,
and we have a
and then a bunch of pine,
big time bittersweet problem in there too.
some hemlock.
Nasty old bittersweet.
2,800 cords. Very good. Now. Jason, you have some fire department stuff you want to chat about?
Tuesday night, we met with a representative from the LoSAP committee, which is Length of Service Award Program. Forget the exact year it started, I want to say 2014 or 15. It was designed for retention and recruitment in volunteer departments, and it's basically, it's like a small retirement account funded through the state. If they put money in the account. I believe, the woman that came the other day. Year one, they funded it with $2.5 million, but they didn't have accurate numbers on how many firefighters there are in the state, so the state took the money back and said, keep in mind. So there is some money in it right now. So all of us that were at the meeting the other night, we all signed up with it. Because again, it's no money out of our pocket, it's all state funded. You've got to be vested in 5 years with the department, so. But the good news we can do a look back 5 years, so any of us that are on there now, it will apply, we can all start getting it now. Municipalities can add to it if they choose to. That's why I just wanted to bring it to you,
Okay.
because
Mhm.
we decided to bring it up. And she said some towns have, one town she worked with, they said they were gonna just buy $1,000 in there. I think per member, but other towns have said $125 they did on the first year or whatever, so. Well, hopefully it's a little bit of something, nobody's getting rich off of it, but.
Every little bit that.
Then again, they don't know, they still don't know an exact number of how many members are out there, because every time they try to do that, you have members like we do with the
Yeah.
targets that are on 3 or 4 different departments, so if every department is reporting their roster.
That
Yeah.
makes sense, yeah.
So,
Sure.
So, what, can I just interrupt you with one question, or not interrupt, but before we get to doing your budget, can you give us a breakdown of like how many calls we handle for Hartford each year? Okay, thank you.
And Jason, you said that program was like for retirement funds?
yeah, you can't draw from it until you're 65.
Right, okay, and you just need 5 years vested time in the volunteer fire department or a fire department.
And it's all run by them, there's nothing the town has to do to manage it or
The
anything.
only thing I have to do is there's, monthly reporting or yearly. Either way, it's just, the state has each member has to earn 30 points, which is based on calls, trainings, everything we keep track of anyway, so.
Yeah.
Sorry, everything is shitty, keep track of for me.
They have to be so old to join you.
What's that?
You have volunteer fire department, so they have to be so old to do it now.
Good. We do it now, like our juniors can sign up for it, so.
Really? Nice.
Or she didn't say they could, one of them was there the other night when we were doing it, so.
Yep. Cool.
If they stuck with it, that could be a
Yeah,
relatively good little nest egg.
Yeah, no, that's.
I don't remember what she said about that. I know if you left our department and went to another, it would carry with you. I can't remember what she said, if you just got done altogether.
I was wondering that,
And then the other bonus, I mean, not that it mattered to me, but, once we're enrolled in this, which all of us who signed up are, I think it was Corbridge Financial is the company that handles it for the state. Any other programs you wanna deal with them for financial planning, they'll do free of charge for.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then the only other question I had was on the direct deposit for our pay. We only get paid once a year, so why do we have to do that? I had a lot of grumbling the other night.
Just to ease of things in the office.
Pass it along and listen to more.
One thing I was gonna check with you on, Jason from CCB reached out and asked if we wanted him to come do the annual refreshers on some of those trainings that they came up and did last year. I didn't realize it'd already been a year, but
Yes. You don't remember sitting in for hours.
yeah, so I don't know if that's something. You want me to just have him reach out to you and
Yeah,
do it that way, or,
Is it cost?
should have my email.
yes,
But that's what we got in trouble with.
that's what we got back the last time.
But that confined space deal is companies that do it for nothing, you know.
But these are more the, what you guys had, what, the pathogen ones and the this and the that.
The only ones the only one he did for us was the, admin.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the only
And then
one.
we had some members go to the confined space just. 'cause
Yeah.
they said it was open for them.
Yeah, no, because the other ones Paul can actually do for us.
That's right.
Paul can do the
Yeah,
other ones.
yeah, I forgot about that.
It uses their stuff, but Paul can do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, cause I don't wanna get into hours and hours of DOL paperwork again.
You know, and I think because we just did it last year, I wanna make sure we stay up on it now.
Yes.
Mhm.
Agreed.
All right, welcome sign. So this one's come up a few times over the last couple of years. I shouldn't say that, 3 years, 4 years now, actually. Since we put up the other welcome signs in town, there's been a lot of people that have asked why there's not a welcome sign on Canton Point Road coming from Dixfield. Because we have one on every other major entrance to town, but not that one. So,
So I reached out to Eric Designs and the quote for the sign and the mounting hardware is 1,100. So, and the ironic thing is, whatever day I was there, Dixfield had just been in contact with them because they want to do the same thing. And they did not include our road either. So,
but, so if that's something, 1,100.
yeah,
That includes the mounting hardware.
Yeah.
Diane?
Maybe a little bit more cost because of the posts and the vinyl.
right, but I mean, that
Right.
was the sign.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just the sign itself.
I think the other 4 signs, just FYI, we have all the materials. I'm just waiting for the weather to clear to put a bar down and put like flower boxes there. So we should have flower boxes all. But I only have enough for 4, but I would get more for 5. if you want to do that.
I just need clarification. You have one coming from Jay to Canton,
Correct.
but you want one that says, welcome to Canton Point?
No,
No.
same sign,
What?
just that,
Same sign, just up by the trailer park where you come, where you cross the
Yeah.
Dixfield line that way. Cause every other main entrance
Okay.
to Canton has one, but when we did it, we never put one there.
Okay,
So we were just
thank you. For the
seeing if it was
clarification.
something that people wanted, then that's the 1,100 for that.
I actually believe I have vinyl sleeves that I could donate to that cost.
I think there's some at the garage that we bought from Pine.
There's still some ones there too.
We-
There's 4 short ones there that I talked to them. We're gonna use for the cross parties.
Well, we bought a bunch for Pine Grove for posts that we had to put in because of.
Placement. Yep. So if that's something we wanted to do, out of. Those in the past have always come out of the benefit fund, that's where the initial ones came out of, that's where the replacement one came out of, for the one that got broke.
Oh, that's right, I forgot that, yeah. I'm okay with it, that's just me.
Is that the only in and out of Canton that we don't have a sign?
Yeah.
So we have one, okay, so we have one on
There's one,
140, 140,
Yeah.
108, 108, so it's just Canton Point.
yeah, that's the only one,
Cover it.
plus we want to
Yeah.
have one out in
What
Meadowview.
about Staples?
Well, we don't need one, do we?
You're right,
Yeah.
Wow.
Fair Hill and Fair Hill.
you are right, well, there's one in Meadowview too, so.
Actually, it's for. There's one on Alden Hill too.
Somebody's throwing up town line.
It would have to be somewhere up by the town line, yeah. Yeah, we'd have to talk to a couple of the landowners and see.
Make a motion, find out what everybody.
Oh, what is he doing? I thought he was blowing raspberries back there.
All right, I have a motion
I'll
for the
second.
welcome sign up to 1,100.
Sean,
Sean,
the motion.
Carol second.
Out of community benefit?
Yeah, up to $1,100.
I have a motion and a second, for up to 1,100, all those in favor? Okay, awesome. All right, next, computers.
You guys all have a new computer quote. We have been working diligently, sorry, I'm making notes here, with, WG Tech and Trio to get us, we were supposed to go live over a month ago, or almost a month ago. We've been running into issues, and today, between the two of them, Sean, I'm looking at Sean. Nick and Will, WG Tech and Trio have been working together for 2 days on, they're both in WebEx sessions, they've both been on the phone together trying to run this. And they've determined that our computers are just too bogged down and too old. I don't talk computer ease, so I heard a lot of Charlie Brown's teacher. But there's no way we can go live with the new Trio program on the computers at the county.
Well, I just went online and found them cheaper than what this quote is, so I haven't. That's my initial concern is
Yep.
this quote is inflated.
Either, no matter what we do, this is unavoidable. We cannot move forward with Trio. Without new computers. However we find them.
Do we have to get them from WG Tech?
No,
We don't have
I
to,
mean, I know they
The
do
que-
our software stuff.
right, the question would be, and it's a question that would have to be asked to them, because I don't know what their answer would be, but. If we did not purchase them from them, what the cost would be to have them set up? And if they would support them. The first thing I see on them, I would not buy 6 monitors, I would only buy 2. The 2 on you guys' desk, I would keep using those. As long as they're still working, I would keep using them, and then the 2 on the counter should be replaced, or they'll have to be replaced in order to,
Be compatible.
yeah, because I know the cabling on those is the
And
old,
they're cracked. I mean, the
right, one of the bezels is
frame.
cracked. Yeah.
The frame, the monitor's not cracked.
Right, now it's just a
Housing.
plastic bezel around it.
why
I
does
mean,
it
I-
have 6?
That would be for dual monitors to the
I was
desk,
gonna,
which
we could use them, but it's not life or death at this point.
but if we cut out 4 of those monitors, that's $716 to be cut off the top.
Can we use the woodlot money?
I wouldn't,
Why? Can I ask?
I wouldn't. I believe there's at least $1,000 left in computer purchases, is that right? I believe.
Yes, just a hair over, because we had to replace the UPS.
Yes.
Oh, the postage meter?
No,
No.
The battery backup
universal
upstairs.
power supply.
Oh,
Uninterruptible power supply.
It got fried when we had a power outage.
How old are those ones on the counter?
Counter, those are 2005s. They were donated to us when we moved. They were used when we came in, so those, I mean. I understand they are old. The one thing that makes me question a few things, I'd like to know exactly why they don't work. Because according to Trio's website, there are specifications that are required to run Trio Web. Those computers meet the specs.
He gave us a little bit more information. It's something about bogging down. Because there are apps that have to run in the background. But I talk like I know what I'm talking about, but
Right.
he did give a breakdown and Aaron talked to them too about the who's and what's. But they tried everything and every time they tried to, they could run everything on. The logging in as Canton on like their computers and it worked, but every time they logged in on the counter computers, it bogged down and locked up.
I guess we could do it from any place. My thought would be, we could take. The 1,000 and whatever's left in it's like 1029 or something like that, out of the computer purchase account. And then take the rest for now out of professional services. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the right line. Professional services, computer support. Because I believe there will be money left in professional services at the end of the year. That would cover that. And then if there's not, we can either look at approving it out of the out of the wood money. Or out of another place if there's money in another budget somewhere.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, sounds like a good plan.
Okay,
Are you taking exactly as they quoted it?
Nope. I guess I personally wouldn't.
I don't think we need 6 monitors.
I would cut it down to just 2 monitors to replace the ones on the counter. And then keep the 27s that are on
Yep.
the desks for now.
What do they quote per monitor? Cause we could
24s.
keep ours, no, per monitor, because if we would only, if we
180.
did 4 monitors, that would give us the ability to dual.
I personally, and this is just my thing, I wouldn't duel a 27 and a 24 together.
No.
The resolutions will be different and it won't work the way that you would want it to work.
Yeah, coming from, I agree with Brian, and I have dual monitors, and that if they're not about pretty much the same size, then it's gonna drive you crazy.
I think it's something, if we need them, we can look at budgeting it for next year, but if just for cutting them loose right now, I would just change it down to 2. Which would drop the total to 39, 16, 92, if I did my math right.
So we're looking at 2 monitors.
The rest the same, just changing it to 2 monitors instead of 6.
Side note, the guys are done going home, we're back out at 5 AM, getting ready for buses.
Perfect.
And then look at budgeting more for maybe next year or the year after.
Can look at it at
Yeah.
budget time, yeah. All right,
We need to make a motion to take that money from where you said.
No.
Okay,
We don't need motion?
No.
Okay, so I just wanna make sure we're taking the remainder from the computer purchase line.
Yep.
The remainder, what's left in the computer purchase line and then the rest out of professional services.
professional services, computer support, yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Other business? We've had a lot of other business, but
no, and like I said,
perfect.
the guys that have done for the night will be back out at 5 in the morning, and I want to thank them for stepping up to pick up the slack today, and you as well for popping in the one time.
Yeah.
So we were a little slower than normal, but we got it done. So kudos to them.
All right, so approval of the warrants. I'm not gonna read all the amounts, but if anybody wants to see them, I'm happy to show them. Because of the number of them, I'm not gonna read them out loud. There are 11 accounts payable warrants and 7 payroll warrants
Approved as signed.
written.
Written. Well, I couldn't say read.
Second,
All right, I have a first and a second on the payroll, AP and payroll warrants. All those in favor? Okay. Cool. Public comment. Right.
Going against better judgment. I have a comment I would like to make, and I hope Brian gives the same courtesy you've given people in the past. I don't want any interruptions.
Yeah.
Or questions or what have you.
Yeah, usually we give anywhere around the 3 to 5 minute mark, and then if we get to 3, I'll give you a warning, and then we get to
Some
5.
people have gone 20, 30
Okay,
minutes.
the
so
one thing I'm gonna
it's
say tonight is,
against it.
I'm just gonna make a comment. I'll give you a 3 minute mark, and then I'll let it go to 5. But when we get to 3, I'll just give you a warning and say, hey,
I'll read that.
we're here, and then,
I kept
we can
it
go from
so
there.
that I could keep it condensed
Yep.
and to the point.
all right, thank you.
Okay, and I would stand, but I have a bad name. To say the very least, I want to express how disappointed I am as a select board member. I was not going to bring things to light, however, the bullying, the cyberbullying, manipulation, non-truths, harsh truths, twisting of information, and downright lies have not only been targeted to the water district, but now to the select board members of Canton, Maine. And yes, I say Maine, because negative articles for other towns named Canton have been put on local social media as if it were our town, when indeed it is not, just to confuse people and cause discontent with residents of our town. And for what? Personal gain. It is my understanding the town select board members are all here to work together and do what's best for the townspeople and not for their own personal gain. Am I wrong to assume that? No. When I asked a question in a prior meeting about the new digital sign, I was told the thousands of dollars being sent was for transparency reasons by Michelle Larrabee. I guess my level of transparency goes much higher than hers. So let's talk about transparency and lack of and integrity. Michelle has come across that it is her husband, Jody Larrabee, who has the problem with Sean, superintendent of the district. However, I have a copy of a 5-page email she wrote to the former state representative, Lisa Kine, supporting her husband's accusations. In the email, she wrote the town does not have jurisdiction over the water district. So why is her husband Jody posting on social media just the opposite, to confuse people, to get people off track? I do have a question for you, Michelle. What is your mother's name?
Why? Why do I need to provide
Because
personal
a new
information?
resident in town living with you, is it Paula Coonan? Because she lives with you, right? So why are you using her to answer all of Jody's questions and giving him support when she lives in your home? Him thanking her on social media, he doesn't talk to her in the house. I find it deceitful, amongst other things, to portray she has no connection to you other than a new resident in town. Again, transparency. All of this for what? Jody wanting or needing a job or a position in town? When this all first began, someone asked what position he was going for. He answered none. He was not interested in whatsoever. He's always been interested, just deceitful about it. They have not been honest upfront about anything, what tactics to go through to try to get a job or position. In closing, I would like to say that, Michelle, I have found you to be the most passive aggressive, calculating, conniving, and non-transparent individual I have ever come across. And I'm tired of the antics from both of you. Thank you.
Response?
First of all, what other people do outside of me is outside of my control. I have no control over my husband. I have no control over any member of my family.
This letter you.
Okay,
wrote to
hang on.
Lisa
Whoa.
Hang on.
I gave you respect and I let you talk. Let me respond to what you've accused me of. Yes, I did send an email to Lisa Kine. I never said I didn't.
Never
Okay,
said-
because I'm disgusted at how my husband has been treated by the water district, okay? So yes, I did step into a personal role and I sent an email to Lisa Kine to support my husband. I sent it outside of my role as a select person. I actually said, I'm facilitating this and I'm stepping away. And that's exactly what I did. And the conversation continued without me, okay? I have a right to do that, just like you have a right to support anybody else in your family outside of any role that you serve, okay? So I don't have to sit up here and disclose who my family members are to anybody in a public forum, because frankly, it's none of anybody's business. Just like I'm not gonna ask you to disclose personal information about you in a public forum. And that's all I have to say.
Because of the aggressiveness that Jody shows, I think there's a little OCD there against.
Okay, we're all done on that, because you had your time, she's had hers. Next public comment, Robin.
Questions?
Sure.
I understand that the Canton Water District has gotten donated all the materials to run a water line to a water, I'm gonna say spigot, for the snack shack that we've talked about for years, that would run the fence line. It won't go through Little Fenway or anything like that. That they're just waiting for your approval and nice weather to get that run at no cost to the town or the residents. So I would love to see, after several years of this being discussed, that it happened, because it sucks working in the snack shack with no available water.
I agree.
So how can we make that happen?
We're actually hopefully having a rec department meeting next week, so, or the week after. next week.
Date
Whatever the date
hasn't
is,
been
and I will
confirmed.
definitely bring it up and see if we can get it in motion.
We're trying to set a meeting next week to talk about budget stuff and programming and coming up, but we just,
I'm
we
having
haven't
trouble
got
getting
it.
everybody's schedules
Yeah.
to match.
It's been discussed for years, so let's do it. He's got the stuff, so.
I didn't know he had the stuff, so it's not like it's been,
And then I
Am I
have
wrong?
a question.
Okay,
My understanding, there was a proposal to get rid of the stumps mess at Pine Grove that's been so controversial. Where are we at on that proposal? Besides waiting on nice weather.
waiting on nice weather, because I know the highway guys have already been talked to about it. And talked about making a plan, but there's not a lot we can do right now.
Why?
So it'll be. One, because we're down a highway person right now, and two, the wonderful white stuff. But we will revisit that as soon as we get time to.
I would love to see both these
Get back to normal.
projects get done and off the to-do list.
Mhm. So would we. Next,
I don't like doing that.
anybody else for public comment? Jody,
Yep. So,
I'll do the same with you, 3-minute warning and then
okay,
5 minute.
so I'm back again with a no confidence / conflict of interest complaint against Sean Goodrow. In my time living in Canton, I don't recall anyone on the select board not taking a liaison position for the departments and committees besides Sean. This gives me the perception that Sean Goodrow is not sitting at the table in the best interest of the townspeople. I did receive the board's letter stating that the Canton Water District is a separate entity and there is nothing the board can do to help me out with my complaints against the Canton Water Department. I'm just curious if the town attorney was provided all the information regarding my complaint. For example, is the attorney aware of the contract at least between the Canton Water District and the town and possibly more to come? From what I've read in my research, a person can serve dual roles such as Sean Goodrow is, but not if there are contracts involved, as that makes it become a conflict of interest. I've been told that the Canton Water Department is a separate entity from the town of Canton, but yet Canton Water District has a contract with the town for plowing. In the past 5 years, the town has not increased the rates that I know of, and they are charging the Canton Water District. The cost of sand, fuel, equipment, the employees' pays, and my taxes all increased. Canton Water District was also just awarded a 99-year lease for a new water treatment with no clear and complete plan as of yet. All that was provided was a proposal from Dirigo Engineering. In my opinion, the following questions needed to be addressed before this decision was made. Where is the water going? What about power, septic, and efficient? How would you insure the property in the flood zone? I understand these are all questions the Canton Water District, for the Canton Water District, but they ceased all communications with me at this time. Another concern I have is since my last interaction with the board on this topic is that my wife was called by the Canton Point Trail Talk with a message for me to call back about a job. When I called back, I was informed that Sean Goodrow was the one that provided them with my wife's phone number. One, where did he get this information to give out? And who did he receive permission from to give out her number to random people? If he wanted to recommend me for a job that I don't understand why he would have to file a false phone harassment complaint on me with the state police unless it was to make himself look good. My business number is the one to give out, not my wife's personal number. I was under the impression that state and local government are there to protect the residents in their town. We have a person on the select board that has made verbal threats in public meetings to shut the water off the Staples Hill Road due to people talking about drilling wells. Is this acting in the best interest of the residents? Can you imagine selling your home in the buyouts only to find years later that the property was allowed to be built on? I have no confidence in Sean Goodrow as a member on the board, and I believe that some of the benefits the Canton Water District has received since he's been on the board is a conflict of interest. And I just wanna give a little rebuttal to what Sean and his wife had said.
3 minutes.
Everything I put on the website is true, and I have the receipts to back it up. If there is false claims, you should have brought them and addressed that. Secondly, I don't understand how now I have a medical condition that's making me like this. That's just wrong. So said my piece.
So I will respond to part of that. I was the one that contacted the attorney, as you saw in your letter. I spoke to two different attorneys. They were given a lot of information.
Were they given that he has leases and
So
contracts? Because when I was on the.
I'm talking now, you're not.
I'm sorry.
So they were talked about the lease because that attorney is actually the one writing the 99 year lease as we speak. So they did know about that. He has no problem. He does not think there is a conflict of interest. We discussed it multiple times. He agrees. I also ran it through Maine Municipal's attorneys, because we have them as a second point of contact, as always, and they're also free. So I went through them. And the lady I talked to there said the same thing. She's basically, as long as when there's a vote that affects the water district or a contract, he steps away from the table, which he has done. I will say the plowing contract, that is a low dollar figure for a reason. The town would actually be at more of a cost if we did not plow that. That is plowed by the town because that's our water source, and God forbid if something happens and there needs to be an adjustment made to pressure or anything like that for hydrants or anything, it has to be plowed out. The other thing is, the board did discuss it when we talked about renewing the contract, and it was talked about, do we increase, do we not?
I was
I'm talking. One more and we're done. So, like I said, we did discuss it and we talked about it and said, why are we going to increase a contract that's going to make them have to increase their rates? Because if we do that, you talk about your taxes going up, that's gonna turn around and make your water bills go up. And we're trying to do the best we can with the information we have. Those are my responses. Sean, would you like to respond?
I would, thank you. Just so everybody knows, Doty's been an axe to grind with me because he knows, his wife knows, the trustees of the water district know, and I know why he is an axe to grind. I'm not gonna bring it up here because it's gonna, you want me to bring it up, Jody? Because it's getting disconnect notice. Ever since then, because he actually went and dug holes over to Michael Files' house for the water district, didn't charge us, they often pay him.
No, you said bring the bill to the town office.
Okay.
Joe, I'm talking.
Sean's turn to talk.
You're right.
I'm not gonna
You're
remind you
right.
again to stop.
I apologize.
And as far as you accusing me of this right here. To Burt's Cassidy. I did not give you a number out. My wife is standing beside me, and this is the minutes of meeting that I gave you. I told Bert Chassie to call the Canton Town office, because I'm not gonna give anybody's number out. So get your facts right, Jody. It's a box full of stuff there where you've lied, you've manipulated,
Okay.
you're a cyber bully. And your wife should know about cyberbullying, or she counsels people. And I wouldn't recommend you for any board in the town of Canton, Jody, because you talk about lawsuits, town of Canton's gonna get sued if you're ever on the board. Thank you. And I would file this in the file, so
In the
you
minutes?
guys know
Mhm.
in the future.
Yep.
And I will say, Brian, that if the trustees ever need a raise, we have to come to you.
Yep. Thank you. Which is what we were told when I reached out to a couple of people.
We've been open and honest, not fun. He claims that we are more than anybody else.
Anybody else have public comment? I'll give you, where are we at? 7:30, you got 2 minutes.
You know what?
If it's about a different subject, if it's about the same thing, we're not gonna talk anymore about it.
Well, at this point, so who gave out her number?
I mean,
Is our select board members available to the public?
No,
I know mine
it's
has been.
public information.
Exactly.
no, it's not.
Aren't
It
they
is.
required? It used to be.
They're posted.
It used to be public information.
You know, I was trying to help your business out, you know. The other ones got the axe to grind with me, the water district and select board.
All right,
Well,
moving on to committee reports. Carol. We already talked highway.
Yeah, thank you.
They're doing a hell of a job. Michelle.
Rec committee, we're trying to pull a meeting together to talk about budget and, programming, for spring and future. Nothing really going on with events, and Diane's here, can speak on planning board.
The planning board is making good progress on the comprehensive plan, yay.
Nice.
We'll hope to have 2 public hearings coming up shortly to review the 2 ordinances that are gonna be, that we'd like to put on the town meeting warrant. Seems to be the fact.
Have, 1 second on that, have we heard, has, Alex reached out to you yet?
No.
Okay, I'll shoot him a message, he called me the week before break, so 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It was either Thursday or Friday, and wanted to set up a time. He would prefer not to do like Jack and just email the responses. He would like to email them, but then actually talk through his reasoning on possible changes and stuff.
Yep.
He said he had, the one that he mentioned he had the most changes in was, or suggestions for, was the cemetery ordinance. Or at least that's the day he talked to me, that's where he was at.
Cool. We could certainly set him up to Zoom in if he doesn't want to come in person.
He actually mentioned that he would like to try to come in person just because he would like to get to know us in person.
And want to connect us, we can certainly make sure he's invited to the next planning board.
Yep. I will see where, I'll shoot him an email and see where he's at and see if we can
Cool.
get a time and date to make it happen.
That would be great. Also, we did get a call a couple weeks ago that, the potential Tonello solar project, the one next to the trailer park,
Mhm.
has, maybe going forward with, under the new solar ordinance. So that's all we know. They were gonna give information on how to get an application, to submit an application. And then we haven't heard anything since then. Now, I know some
I
of
see
the,
they plowed it out.
yeah, I know the ground was cleared, but there was really nothing else going on.
Yeah, there was something for a drill rig going in there.
Yeah, by Tuesday.
Whatever
morning.
day it was when they plowed it out, I saw them going in.
Yeah, remove some snow, but.
Yeah.
They just FYI, that would be coming.
Which solar project was that? I know you said the Tonello solar project.
It's on Canton
Right,
Road.
It's right
Okay.
next
By
to
the trailer park. There's an old gravel pit.
Okay.
Yep.
It was a small one, right? Yeah,
It's
Medium, I think.
according to
Medium.
The definition of the ordinance.
gotcha,
And
gotcha.
they were very clear, because they called a couple weeks ago and they're like, we're gonna be this many megawatts, and is that alternating current or, you know, AC/DC current, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you have the ordinance, we'll walk through it with you, but then we were kind of expecting to see that at the last meeting, and they didn't submit anything yet. And I think on the fee schedule, that's a $500 permit application fee, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's what
I
it
believe
was,
that's-
yeah.
Yeah, I think
sounds right.
we went through the application. Permit application paper, meeting, I think there's one small change, so I'll shoot that over to you. Thanks.
Yeah, nobody's contacted the office for it yet.
I think that's all you've got.
I think that's all I have.
Us.
All right. We are in the process. On March 18th. We'd started the foreclosure process on several properties for the 2023 taxes. We are down to 4 properties and with 2 owners. And
Four properties.
4 properties,
Okay.
2 owners. One person has 3 pieces of land, and I believe the other is a, residential. And we would do that, we would push the button on the 18th. So we have not heard from them, we've heard from everyone else, we actually started with 9 or 11 properties. So people have come through and paid, which, yay, because we got one. I may send a couple of, I had started before we even started the process, sending a letter, because some people don't check get their certified. So I sent a letter to them saying this is happening. And I did get some responses from that, so I may send another letter, with just a heads up saying, you know, this is what's still gonna happen. Livermore, the town of Livermore has received the vest back from the prior ACO. And, our ACO is interested in purchasing it. I reached out to Carrie and asked what the original purchase price was, because I was not part of that. And she was not at work, but she believed it was somewhere between $350 and $375 per town.
All right.
It does sound right, you said?
Sounds about right. I'd have to go back and look, but
So, and she says it still looks new-ish. I don't know how we would set a price for buying our half back. I don't know how we want to proceed with that.
I don't want to have a vest.
Well, no, but Eric is looking at the vest. He would purchase it. He'd even say we could take it out of his pay.
$500.
But we have some options, but I don't know how you want to proceed with that.
I guess my question would be, because I remember Russ bringing it up way back when we first talked about buying one, that they're pretty fit, custom fit for the person. So I don't know anything about it, but I just remember
Yeah,
Russ
well, that
bringing
was
it
his-
up.
Right.
That was
When
his.
But I do know that Livermore's ACO won't fit in it because it's more suited to a man than a woman.
Yeah.
I don't know. if I can say that.
I know nothing about bulletproof vests.
No, so I just didn't know how we wanted to proceed on that. Eric did think that it might fit him. But if not, do we just leave it alone? What do we do?
Is his thought process, he's buying the whole thing, not just paying Livermore for their half and we still have half of it?
He did not clarify that, but where he is our ACO, he thought we would buy at least Livermore's half back. And then it would be Canton's vest for the Canton ACO, but I don't know.
So it looks like from the agreement that you'd put in our packet or given to me tonight, it looks like the actual value of the vest was
I was gonna say, it was more,
$919, I think.
it was stupid money,
It was $719 plus
yeah.
$169 plus $26.94, so it's nine.
I thought we were in the, like 11 to 1200 range.
Yeah, this says it's 919, I think is what it says.
Okay.
1900?
No,
No.
919 something is what this paper says.
Okay.
Ownership at termination of the agreement, depreciation value of the equipment is set at 50% of acquisition cost at the end of the terms. That's not this terms. Okay. This agreement reducing 10% per year at the end of the successive year after. By mutual agreement, one group may buy the other's interest in the equipment for 50% of the set depreciated value at the end of the ACO's employment. So 50.
So then he has half and we have half, that's what.
Well, essentially, if we paid $250, then the town of Canton would own the vest.
Okay,
And then we could choose to sell it to Eric.
We could either do that or keep it as something that we give to our ACO. Well, you can really see it.
I'll take your word for it.
Different, but that's what I got out of that.
so I guess it depends on what Livermore's willing to sell it for, is my thought process. If they want to sell their half out. This was a crazy agreement to get into.
Well, I don't know how you have half of this, but
Exactly.
And that was talked about when it was done.
is it something we
That's
want,
why we denied it for a few years.
Yeah.
we want to look into it and
I would say reach out and ask what they would, by the agreement, what they would consider.
may I have a
Or-
copy of that agreement?
Yeah, it's the one you gave me.
I didn't get it.
It was in my box. Somebody put it in there.
Wasn't me.
It was in my box, so.
It was the best care.
Okay,
It was in there with the return of equipment agreement.
all right, so talk a little more and then we'll revisit it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. We had discussed a check scanner and I had sent you an email.
Yep.
When we were talking about Androscoggin Bank doing a courier pickup, we did not want to alter our checking account to lose the interest.
Mhm.
The check scanner is gonna do the same thing, and we're still going to the bank. So
I would like to continue this conversation with the treasurer,
Okay, perfect.
just so she's involved in it, but,
Yep,
but I agree, we're happy to talk about it. I just wanna make sure we do it with her, that's all.
yep. That's
Yeah, I'm
perfect.
happy to chat about it.
Mary from the school reached out today and said that the school board meeting on March 25th at 6:30 is when they're gonna present their full budget. And they are inviting the select board to attend. Speaking of the rec department, we are working our way through the boxes and upstairs.
Mhm.
And if the,
Something that is on our list to talk to them about.
okay,
Mhm.
thank you, because it's gotten wider.
Yep, no, it's on the list.
Yeah, and all that stuff needs to be gone through anyways.
When we had talked before, we had, a Trio issue with some sewer liens. Trio believes they have that fixed after much complaining, we have had it escalated up through higher than it was, so we believe that is fixed. We will know more first of the week when they set a second set of eyes on it and do some testing. And the last thing is the scholarship committee. We need a scholarship committee. We did put it out there on Facebook, if anyone was interested to reach out. We have not heard anything.
I'll be one of them. No one else is
So
stepping
a
up.
couple of years
We'll need a
ago,
board rep, so.
picked the planning, no, budget committee, a select person.
And then
In the community,
Yeah.
And we do have one, we received it today. Citizen of the Year nomination, so.
Good.
But those are coming in. Nomination papers for elected boards are available tomorrow.
Yes.
have we posted that recently?
We posted it at the beginning of the week, it's on the signs.
Can we post it again?
Yep, and we'll post it again.
I just saw Dixfield posted theirs today, that's why I was saying that.
And we've set our election date. I think that's it. I think
The school's gonna be reaching out to you shortly to ask about calculating some.
they already reached out to me and I
Okay.
passed it on to Paul.
I also told them that we couldn't accurately do that yet because we haven't done our budget yet, so. I told them we could do it, but it would be off of this current year's budget, not the possibility of next year, so.
So. Yeah, and I asked for assistance. Oh, and like I said, the recycling report.
Mhm.
I think that's it. Everything's going great in the office.
Russ had done a bunch of those
Yeah,
reports, so I don't know why they say they haven't gotten them since 18.
yeah, cause there was,
Unless it did.
it came up on another one and. I know he had to
Yeah.
spend a bunch of time going through a bunch of printouts and stuff to get all the information and.
I don't know
So
where
I-
to find them. We've been looking.
Well, as far as I knew, he had done them and sent
I thought
them
they were
wherever it
sent
was they
in,
needed
but-
to go. So
Cause that was,
it would have been his last year on,
yeah,
I believe.
it's been a while.
So,
If anybody has any idea
That
where
was
they
2
might
years ago.
be, we've
Yeah.
been going through files, and we have not come across.
I don't think it's anything that we would have
Crazy
still.
question, but if we ask Jim if they're at the dump in the office up there. Cause at one time
I didn't know any files were up.
at one time, the reports were there.
I was gonna say, there was
I
something.
don't know if
Yeah.
they're still there or not, but I haven't been in the office up there for quite a while, but
I didn't even know he kept files up there.
yeah, like I say, at one point, there were some of the reports up there, but
Okay, I'll check into that.
it's just worth a try anyways.
Well, and actually, because Rob had it last year, so you might just wanna ask your husband.
Really?
Just saying.
You want me to talk to my husband? I think that's it. Yeah. I think we're good.
All right. Yeah. Any other business?
No.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I have no motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you.